Saying a special good morning to our listeners, those of you via Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9. Good Tuesday morning. It's the 19th of December. The countdown is on before Christmas 2023. Let me say also good morning to our viewers, those of you via GBN TV, whether you're viewing Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channels 20. Good morning. Our social media audience, those of you via our Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning and welcome. I always seem to leave out our webpage viewers and listeners, also those of you via gbn.gd. Good morning. It's Tuesday. And you know, on Tuesday, we do entertain the opposition here on To The Point. And this morning, representing the women's arm of the new National Party, we have Dr. Judy Bois and Mrs. Brenda Hood. Let me say good morning to both of you and welcome. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. How are you doing this morning? It's been a while, Mrs. Hood.
Yes.
I haven't had you for the last couple of months, but nice to have you back this morning. And Dr. Judy Bois, I think is the first time I'm having you on the program. Good morning to both of you and welcome.
Good morning and thank you.
Good morning to you also and to the listeners out there.
So we this morning you here representing the women's arm of the new National Party, and of course it's gonna be a bit of a civil conversation this morning. I would say women in general. You were speaking a lot to them, the do's and don'ts around this time of the it's a Utah season, and women sometimes I think they like to overdo it more than men for some reason or the other. Any opening comments before we get into the conversation this morning?
Yes, well, first of all, I just want to say good morning to all the listeners out there that are listening to this program. It's always a pleasure to be on the program, and today is no exception. In particular, we are in the Yuletide season, just before Christmas, so we are here to share with the women out there in terms of ideas, in terms of coping at this time and going forward in the new year.
All right. Anything from you, Dr. Dubois?
Yes, we as women ourselves, we're concerned about the women, how they cope, like Mrs. Hood said, and we just want to encourage them, remind them of some of the things that they can do to have a better holiday season, and maybe to suggest some new ideas to them.
All right, let's kick it off this morning with Utah season. You mentioned cope. How do you suggest some women they cope? Who would like to go through that?
Well, I can start with it when you say cope in life. As long as you're alive, I believe that you always have to come up with ways in which you can cope, because you're facing difficulties on a daily basis. If you have children, small children, there are issues that you have to deal with. A lot of the times you don't have the finances to cope with it. And as we all know, that women in Grenada, most of them are head in households. They look after their children. They are single parents. They're sometimes underemployed. The salaries that they get are not always what it should be, or it's not as much as it should be, because they're not in some of the technical fields that men and construction and all of that. So it is hard at times, and in particular at this time. So we want to say to them, I'm here saying all is not lost, that they have to think positively and manage whatever they have to go forward. Their children have to understand that things are not as it used to be. Things are limited, and you give them what you can afford. And I guess having the discussion with your children and also taking care of yourself is very critical in order for you to manage what you're going through.
All right. Dr. Dubois, you want to follow up on that anyway about?
Yes. We know that planning is important. And we want to tell our women especially, don't wait until the Christmas season to start planning and thinking. You have to realize, observe or pay attention to what you have and see how you can stretch your dollar. Sometimes I think the spending is excessive and then we don't think about tomorrow. So we want to tell our ladies out there, women, especially the single mothers, to divide your finance, your whatever you have, and see how you can make do, and not only make do, but stretch that dollar, because there are ways to do it. Sometimes we have local things that we can use, and we can do so many different things with our fruits, our vegetables, and so on. But then we go for all that canned stuff and all that. So,
So now you're kicking the health factor of it also.
Yes, and also healthy stuff. And then I know Grenada Food and Nutrition Council usually gives a lot of tips as to how we can use in many diverse ways what we have and create such great stuff with it. And another thing that some of us do, we think that every time Christmas comes around, we have to have our houses looking brand new. So if we don't have the brand new curtains, if we don't have the brand new flooring, we don't feel right. But we can recycle and we can, make it work.
But sometimes for lots of women, for say, who are, when you say that, there are women who do things because of tradition. They may have grown up from a child to the adult that they have gotten to know, and that may have always been the process for them.
It's the culture.
The culture. So they know from their mom, their grandmom, their great grandmom. Those are the things that they've been doing. So to ask most of them to change that culture, no, it seems a bit difficult. Not that they can't do it. I mean, once you set your mind out to do something, it can be done. You understand? But sometimes the culture of it is hard to break. So I understand what you're saying. It's sometimes the recycle factor could work. Yeah, let me use back what I used last year or maybe earlier this year and stuff like that, because of the way of the cost of living now. But sometimes the culture may be a little bit difficult too.
Yes. But you don't want them to follow the culture, and they have a family, and then January is one of our longest months, and they have the children to feed, they have the bills to pay, and you have to run your home. So you have to find that balance.
So understandably so. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, because you're here this morning to offer that bit of advice and encouragement, especially to the women over there. Manage your money. That's
managing. That's the key.
Management is a key thing here in terms of whatever you want to do this holiday season. Let's speak a little bit now in terms of the encouragement factor this morning. What would you like to encourage women to do more within this particular season that we are in right now? We are just a couple of days before Christmas, so the hype of the shopping may have started for most of them, or those who may not have started yet may be starting soon. What sort of encouragement would you like to throw to them this morning?
Okay, I would say that, all is not lost. I mean, Christmas is just around the corner, just a few more days, and maybe they're worried, I don't have the money to buy the ham, I don't have the money to buy all that fish or the toy for my kids. So you have to limit the amount that you normally buy. There are people who don't eat. Would you not believe that there are people who don't eat food from the day before? They throw it out. Whereas you can leave it for the next day, put it in the fridge if you do have a fridge.
I know folks who like the fresh stuff.
And they like the fresh all the time. But if you cook it properly and the fridge is working well, you can eat that food the next day and even the next day, or you put it in the freezer. The other thing that I would think that they can do is that because of the economy that we are facing, not only in Grenada but around the world now, what is happening, I think what they have to do is manage. They may have to go, things are very expensive out there for everyone, and therefore you don't have the cash you would have had maybe a year or 2 years ago. So you have to cut back on what you normally. So you get the basic. You decide what is most important for you and your family, and that's the priority at this time. This is what you purchase, and then you leave the rest for the next month. But I think one of the things that you have to do as an individual, as a mother with children, is that you have to show them love, because I believe love is more important than anything else.
So true. So that's the way you want to follow up on of course, the encouragement factor that we show to women in.
But, talking about love, it's all about showing the children from when they're very little what is important.
Yes.
And we've seen in our societies that the people who live in this very little cramped house and have that good family relationship, they're much happier than those who may live in big homes, spacious homes, have everything that's material. So it's all where the priorities are taught to be placed, and I think that's a very important point. One of the things, though, we find around this season is the utility bills that we have to deal with, the water, the electricity, and everybody likes to see the lights.
So you're talking priorities,
So if you used to light up the whole house, and also the Christmas tree, maybe you will settle for less lighting, or you can do solar lights.
Yes.
So, and teaching the children, because you see it's Christmas time, excuse me, because it's Christmas time, then you find that people don't think, they're careless, when not intentionally so, but they leave the lights on. You go to bed and then you have outside lights on, and well, sometimes they're necessary. If there's solar, then that's fine. But we have to also teach our children how to conserve, not only at Christmas time, but all through the year.
Year round. Because the bills would not be less, after Christmas.
Exactly. So maybe if you had, maybe you just choose to do the Christmas tree and not do so many lights around the house, if they're electricity driven, So these are some of the things that people can do. The water, instead of leaving the pipe running, and not just at Christmas time, that I have to repeat myself here, but when you're doing like the children brushing their teeth, they go to the sink, and while they're actually putting the toothpaste on and while they're actually brushing, the water is running. And sometimes it's easier just to fill a glass and have that glass there to use, because the most thing you need the water for is to rinse.
So true.
And the other thing is, like, if you're washing dishes and so, people usually, some people do have the water running all the time. So that means when you see your bill at the end of the month, it is so high because you have wasted the water.
Yeah, so basically you say conserve.
This is one way of doing it, because if you don't, you will find that your bills at the end of the month are extremely high, and the funds that you're paying, the utility company, you could have used it to purchase food and things like that.
All right. We're due for a break. Let's take our first break, and when we come back, we discuss some more. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back after the break. Stay with us.
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with the NLA's exciting You Must Win promotion. Spend $15 or more in a single ticket purchase on Daily Pick 3, Daily Cash 4, or Playway, and just like that, you have chances to win prizes valued at over $100,000. Winning is easy. Simply check your tickets for the words "You won," free cash, free phones, free tablets, or free Instacash tickets. But wait, that's not all. You can also win free raffle entries for chances to win not one but 2 cars in NLA's You Must Win promotion. Promotion runs December 1st, 2023 to January 31st, 2024. Terms and conditions apply. You must be 18 and over to participate. The NLA, making your Christmas and New Year dreams come true.
Hello everyone, here is an invitation to join me this and every Sunday until December 17th on GBN Television and K105 FM from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for Yuletide Sundays. Great music, gifts, and all the wonderful things of Christmas. Yuletide Sundays comes to you compliments Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices, Grenville Credit Union, Gittins Healthcare, and Clear Vision Eye Center.
This Christmas episode of Caribbean Passport, there is holiday cheer from Barbados to the Bahamas. We take in the musical talents of the Love Movement, the Carters, and Ray Holman. And of course, our taste buds will be satisfied. All this and more on this holiday edition of Caribbean Passport, right here on this station.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath and relax yourself. Take another deep breath and relax it, and relax it. Eliminate violence.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point for today, Tuesday, the 19th day of December. With me this morning, representing the women's arm of the new National Party, or the opposition here in Grenada. It's Opposition Tuesday here on To The Point this morning here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. Representing me this morning, Dr. Judy Bois and Mrs. Brenda Hood with me this morning. As I mentioned, they're representing the women's arm of the new National Party. And they're this morning, of course, as being the women's arm. Of course, they're both women with me this morning. And they're sharing ideas in terms of women in Grenada, ways they could make things easier around this time of the year. You understand? And let's get into the conversation of best practices. You know, that women could follow through. Maybe you have some ideas that you would like to share on best practices that women can do. You know, to nurture things themselves and their family around this time of the year. Ways in which they could balance that budget, as we would say. You know, to make life easier for them, because there are folks who may be saying, it's the cost of living now is a bit high. We know things are not as it were 20 or 30 years ago. So that those best practices, the ideas that you may like to throw in just a way of just getting women to think in a more positive light, if you could say that. We would like to go and attempt to throw those ideas out to me this morning. The best practices.
Well, for me, I think that there are lots of opportunities out there for women that they can take on their own. And I guess what they would like to do, what I would like to see a lot of the women doing, is that it's too late now for Christmas, but you have next year coming. And I think one of the things that they can start thinking about in terms of generating revenue are two ideas that we looked at, the previous administration looked at, and one has to do with backyard gardening, which deals with agriculture, producing the agriculture. And I always say that instead of just doing it for yourself, you can have the community involved. So you share what you have, whether you're doing cabbage, carrots, whatever, and they share with you. And if you have excess, then you can sell. So you cut back on the food bill instead of going and purchase everything. And it's not that you need lots of land. land to do this. You can use drums and things like that to do this. So this is something that we did in the past, and I would love to see this continuing throughout the length and breadth of this country. So women who are interested, if they have a plot of land, if they have drums, encourage them, because food is very, very expensive. It is too late now for Christmas, but going forward in the new year, and especially we are in the rainy season. So therefore, and government can donate the plants to them, so they don't have to purchase it. And this way they can start growing the lettuce, the tomatoes, and these are things that we all need to eat to be healthy.
Yes.
And you can't really get it to buy sometimes. Even if you have the money, you can't get it. So this is something I would like to encourage. And the other encouragement is that there are so many little opportunities. I see a lot of men going around selling food stuff and things like that. This is one way they can do it. Some people do have fridges. Most people do have a fridge in their home. They can make the icicles and they can sell it. Kids like to buy those things, put a little coloring in it, and they would love it. And the other thing that they can do, like the tambourine that waste, they can make tambourine balls, they can make fudge, they can do things and give it to their kids, so they can sell it. And there are people out there, even the guava cheese is something that is in demand. And if you can get the guava and make the guava cheese, at least you generate some revenue. So I think, it's just being creative and thinking about what can I do. All is not lost. As long as you have the strength, you have the hands that you can do it, you will make it. And this is a message I want to give to the women out there, that all is not lost. Be hopeful, and all, you will benefit.
So you're basically saying they could become their own entrepreneurs.
Exactly, eventually. And government also can encourage them to start small businesses and stuff like that, even cooperatives, because with cooperatives they come together and they share, and they have 10 of them. You have to be 10 persons in order to be a cooperative, and they can decide, okay, this is what we want to do. We want to dry fish, we want to do certain things, and these are programs that in the outer parishes the women are getting into, and they will, I hope, I know they will do well, because they were trained and all of that. So these are things that they can do.
All right. Dr. Ruby, you want to, of course, share some ideas on the best practices of women that the women can, of course,
yes, I want to support that, and I also want to say that you don't need a whole set of land to start doing anything. I remember when we were growing up, my mom, we loved flowers, and we used to plant flowers, but she would go and stick some little tomato tree between the flowers, and we didn't understand, because we would get upset and say, this is for flowers.
She's spoiling the flower bed or whatever.
Exactly. And I remember my mom having fowls in the yard. Yeah. So we would get eggs, and we don't have to have much land for that. You have 2 little yard flowers, you get 2 little chickens, and they multiply. They're right there for you.
But sometimes people would say times has changed. You understand? Times has changed. Folks would say, the world has become a bit more commercialized. Everything is available for you, so why would I want to do it? But you were saying it's not always the best practice to be spending your money on these things. If you could always create your own, do for yourself, and of course it could save you in the long run.
Exactly. Times have changed, but then you have to be realistic and look at your situation and compare it with what can be done as to what there is, and choose the best one for you.
Yes.
So even though times have changed, people can still raise their little fowls and their little, grow their little stuff. I remember driving through that road in the back of Mount Morris Jones Road. I don't remember which one it is, but when you come off the main road, if you're coming to town and you're going through that road there, and somebody had just a little strip of land on the side of this step, and you should see the amount of seasoning peppers that grew there.
Yeah.
Right by my gates. Maybe some seed fell, and I can't even see the dirt there, but all I saw is a little pepper tree came up. I didn't disturb it, and now if you see the amount of peppers on there. Right. So I'm just saying this to say that everybody wouldn't farm. Everybody wouldn't do the same thing, but especially for the mothers, the single mothers out there who are struggling, they have to look hard and long at where they're at and what they can do to ease the burden of the stresses of the financial situation in the homes.
All right. What about the option of if you would like to throw that to mothers, making priorities in terms of what they should do and shouldn't do around this time of the year? When I say priorities, should I consider going out to a particular event? And that money that I will spend for the event, should I use it to maybe purchase food for the home or something like? What kind of advice you would like to throw to women in general on that now? But not only mothers, but women in general.
Well, the thing about it is, human beings need to enjoy themselves.
So true.
And therefore, you have to prioritize. So if there are 4 parties coming up or 2 parties, you do one instead of doing all of them. Because you have to take care of your hair, you have to take care of your nails, and all of that counts. So it's just that you have to manage well. And we are not saying that you should just sit at home and do nothing because you don't have anything. We are saying that you need to decide what is more important, because at the end of the day, when you are going out and you're having a good time, you have to think about the kids also, who also need to enjoy things with their friends. So it's just limitations. You manage it, and you can't start in December for December. You have to start, that's your lifestyle, so you start early, and you can decide in January, this is what I want to do in December, these are some of the stuff, how much money I need, so you put it aside every day, regardless as to how much you earn. You should put something aside, as the mother used to say, for rainy day, because you never know what will happen. Like a lot of the times, people get sick. They don't have the money for the doctor. They don't have money for the medication. They don't get it from anyone, and it creates a lot of problems. Right. So it's just that I'm saying that not because you're a mother and you have children, it means you should sit at the corner of the street or you sit at home and don't do anything. I believe what you need to do is to prioritize, and you decide your plan. You have to plan. You don't wait for the week before Christmas. We are speaking now, and that is kind of late because this is Christmas. On Sunday.
Well, it's about, as you would say, it's about creating that discipline for
next year. So that could be New Year's resolution.
Mm-hmm. Creating that discipline.
And it could be a New Year's resolution where this is what I'm going to do looking forward to the New Year, and these are the ideas that I will think about.
All right. Do you want to follow through on that?
What crossed my mind is that we want to encourage the mothers out there and the single parents out there to take advantage of whatever programs that government offers.
Yes.
Every government does not offer the same program. Some offer a little more. I remember the last administration offering the glasses program and more of the for social support, right. Giving more of the books and the transportation and all that, But whatever it is, I think people should take advantage of it, right. Because it would help you in some way. And pay attention to your children's health. I mean, we hope that we can come back one day and talk about health, how we should manage the health of the children, because at the end of the day, the government saves money.
Yes.
If we follow our healthy practices. Like we're talking now about growing the stuff that, you can eat. So it's in the same way, but don't wait until a child is sick or complains about something. We just want people to start paying attention to the health of the home, because the single mother has a lot of stress when the children fall sick. So it's costly and it's worrisome, and then you lose sleep, you get stressed out. So we're also telling them for the new year to start thinking about that. But I just want to say again, with all the activities that are happening around this time of year, people have to choose what they can afford to go to, if at all they can. Okay. And it wouldn't hurt you if you have to miss something for your family. At the end of the day, it pays off big time. The rewards for the stability of the home, it pays off.
So true. Can we ever think about now school reopens after the end of the holidays and so forth? There may things that you may need for your sons and daughters to return back to school. So maybe you have to make that decision. Hey, should I spend that $100 to attend a particular event, or save that $100 so that I could get my son or daughter whatever they need for the upcoming school term?
Transportation, food, different things. And the other thing that we want, talking about education there and their children, I believe it's important that parents encourage their children to concentrate and to do well in school, because that is one of the ways to get out of the poverty-stricken environment that perhaps they would have been brought up in. Because we know so many of us who parents were extremely poor, but it's because of the education that we have had. This is why we are where we are today. I always say Dr. Du Bois is a good example. Went all the way to Cuba, and today she's a doctor. You understand? If that opportunity wasn't there, she didn't do well in school, she wouldn't be Dr. Du Bois today. Yeah. And I think it is very, 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 education is key. You can, go any part of the world and survive once you are an educated person. But if you don't go to school when you should be in classes, if you don't function well, you don't do well, then it will be difficult down the road. And this is why sometimes you see adults complaining, and I'm talking also male and female complaining that things are not good, but some of them dropped out of school. Some of them didn't do it because they wanted to, but they didn't have the guidance that was needed. But others just couldn't be bothered. So I just want to reach out and say to the parents out there, really, really, that is the hope. Encourage your children to do well in school, focus well, because that's why they're there. And I trust you, I tell you, they will do extremely well if they believe in themselves and they know that they can make it.
All right.
And I just want to say that I came from a home where my mother was a homemaker. My father was a farmer working hard in mountain lands. Yeah. And we as children during the holiday picking up nutmeg and doing all that stuff. So had it not been for an opportunity, I would not be where I am today.
All right, and at least you took the advantage of the opportunity also.
Yes.
All right. We're due for a break. Let's take it again. We come back. We chatting, of course, Dr. Du Bois and Mrs. Brenda Hoodman this morning, the women's arm of the New National Party. We're coming right back after the break, folks. Stay with us.
Are you tired of constantly having to...
This month on Caribbean Medical.
The pediatrician's main role is to care for the health of children, and that caring starts from birth all the way up to the young adult stage.
When it comes to child development, it's very important to be aware of how your child is developing. Since before birth, children, especially the neurological system, develops at a very rapid pace.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical right here on this station.
listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to the point for today, Tuesday, the 19th day of December 2023. With me this morning, once again, representing the women's arm of the new National Party, the opposition party in Grenada. We have Dr. Judy Bois and Mrs. Brenda, who with me this morning. Ladies, welcome back once again. Let's shift our conversation just a wee bit to the women's arm of the new National Party. Tell us about the women's arm of the new National Party, the functioning, how it functions, and any other information you would like to share. Probably there's that bit of a Christmas message you want to throw also to the women out there. If you would like to do that, go right ahead. Let us know.
Okay. Well, I was the chairperson of the Women's Arm for a while. I'm no longer the chairperson. Dr. Dubois is acting chair of the Women's Arm. And what I would like to say this morning is to encourage women to come on board, because it's not just about the politics, but it's about developing yourselves. Right. When you look at the new National Party, the former government, we have had many women who have had significant positions in the party. And this is and throughout the years, when you traveled and went around the world, they were always impressed with Grenada in terms of the numbers of women, female members who were in high positions in the party. So we want to encourage them, because when you come in, we would want to let you know that there are opportunities, and as we listen and the UN and all of that, there are great opportunities out there for women, and therefore the party will continue to do what is necessary to encourage, and that women will serve and make a great contribution towards the development of this country.
All right.
And I just want to wish all the women of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique the very best for the Christmas season.
All right. Anything about the women's arm again? Dr. Dubois, you want to share? Of course, your level within the women's arm of the new National Party.
Yes. We have been encouraging women to come on board, be active members of the women's arm.
Yes.
Because when we come together and we put our thoughts and ideas together and we work together, it strengthens the organization. We've had activities where we've brought women together to do workshops. We've had different presenters so that they can be empowered. Last March, for International Women's Day, we had a very successful activity in St. Patrick, where the women came together and topics were presented on small business, on how to make ends meet, how to empower yourself, education, and all these things. We had different presenters, and it was well received. And they asked for another one. They were so impressed and so energized that they wanted to have other sessions like that. And afterwards, we had a social event. So it was a really, really grand affair that we had. And so we seriously like to push our women to achieve the greatest potential that they can.
And I should say also that it was that event, we did have a guest speaker talking about health, because if you're not healthy, then you cannot function the way you should. That is critical. It has to be in everything that we do. So that was discussed, and they were very pleased. And I must say, coming out of that International Women's Day event, there were some women who have now started making the tamarind balls and stuff like that, and they're selling it, the guava cheese and all of that, because the idea came that there are people out there who are looking for it, because sometimes you go to the supermarket and you're trying to see if you can find, but you don't. So there are little opportunities that we would like to encourage our women to get involved in, because it's maybe it's 25 cents for one or $1, but it adds up over a period of time.
All right. Tell me, how concerned are you, the women's arm, especially in terms of the development of women in Grenada over the years?
What was the question?
I was asking, from the women's arm of the new National Party, how concerned are you to see women development in Grenada?
We're very concerned, because the women especially women who are burdened with taking care of children, single parents, they tend to despair.
Yes.
And we have to assist them with working on their mental state, to show them that they can, quote unquote, get up and get. And as small as the start may be, it's important to start somewhere. So we would like for them to start thinking about where they want to be and helping them to plan that way and seeing how we can help them achieve that. And as the times get harder, as things get more expensive, it puts even more stress on them. And but we are determined to work with our women.
All right.
And we are determined to assist them as much as possible so that they can really rise from where they're at to where they're supposed to be.
All right. Ms. Woden, you want to chime in on that?
Yes.
In terms of how the concern from the new National Party Women's Arm in terms of women development here in Grenada?
Well, I listened to the budget this year. And I didn't find that there was enough for women in there. I'm not too sure if it's something they would add at a later date, but we have to understand that women do play a significant role in the development of the country, and therefore they need the support in order for them to do it because they have their families. As I said earlier when we started, many of them are heads of household, many of them are underemployed, and therefore there need to be opportunities for them, opportunities in terms of training, in terms of education, in terms of the whole technology that is there, because you don't want our women to be left behind. So it must be in communities, and we do have community centers throughout the length and breadth of this country. I think we need to utilize them more and get persons to come out and work with these women who are willing, because if you're not willing to learn, it makes no sense participating. But the people who are willing to do, because I know that a lot of young women, some of them in their 30s and 40s, they work full time and they have gone to Marshall College. They have university degrees, qualified with university degrees. But not everybody has to have a university degrees. It could be somebody who want to have a skill. You want to be a plumber, you want to be an electrician, you want to be a tiler, because years ago there were women engaged in all of those fields. Some of them are still in it, but not as many as we would like to see. Yeah. So I trust that with all that is happening here in terms of the development, that we really empower women to get more involved, get into the skills area, so they can earn enough to look after themselves and their families.
Yeah. What advice would you like to throw, especially to young women here in Grenada, in terms of developing themselves, from the women's arm of the new National Party, in terms of young women? Yeah, we speak of women in general, but we have a pretty young society also here in Grenada. How would you like to see, the advice you'd like to give it, especially to young women in terms of their personal self-development here in Grenada?
Well, I would say to them, it's important to help, to get involved. Young women, whatever church you go to, or whatever community you're involved in, join clubs, because that's how you learn. You don't get it in the books in school. You have to go out there in the communities and participate. So take part in opportunities that are there. Volunteer your time. Lots of people don't like to volunteer, but you learn a lot when you volunteer. You don't get it from a book, but by interacting with other people, building relationships with people, and going out there to help the poor. Even in your community, there might be some people in your community who need some assistance. Maybe you can go over to them, an older woman, an older man. You can read for them, you can comb their hair, you can help them clean up their surroundings. I know maybe I'm saying these things to people who, I wouldn't do that, but it's important. Mm-hmm. I did it as a child. No one told me to do it, but I did.
We in modern times.
we in modern times, but remember, we from the old times. And this is modern time, and you have to cope with it.
But some may say the fact that one may have worked back then.
It may have, but caring for people will always work.
That's so true.
It will always work. So it's not that it worked at that time, but I think, you have to think about people. You also have to think about they have to focus. As a young person, I'm saying to them, if I have a group of young people in front of me, I say to you, what you have to focus, what would you like to do in life? And then you work towards it. You don't give up. Because, life is not easy. It's difficult, but you have to say, this is what I want, and you stick with it. And you will make it in life if you work towards it.
All right. But another question I would like to ask, in terms of opportunities for young people, what kind of opportunities would you like to see offered more for young women in Grenada today?
As I said earlier, I think women should be given to engage in upgrading themselves. If some of them dropped out of school, then you have opportunities where they can go back to school in the evening time, go back and get involved. Then they can do skills training. There are women, encourage them, give them some funds, loans, so they can start their small businesses, because it's not always working for someone, but it's what can I do for myself. So encourage them, give them support, give them some funds, a grant, a loan that they can pay back, and then you bring in persons to work with them to encourage them that there are opportunities out there. Some of them may want to go abroad and study. That's okay. But I always say to people, when you go abroad, you should always come back to your country and give back.
All right. And in the segment coming up, I think we do have a caller. Let's see what this caller needs to offer this morning. I guess we may have lost that caller there. But we due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, just a few more minutes left. I wasn't planning on taking the calls today, but we'll see what we can do when we come back after that. Let's take that break, and we certainly will come back. Let's take the break first, and we certainly will come back.
Records at the traffic department shows that a total of 1,447 accidents were reported for the year 2012, which includes 3 road fatalities. 2,946 accidents were reported for the year 2022, which includes 8 road fatalities. This is a significant increase of 104%. This is alarming. When a family tragically loses a loved one, does it matter whether by means of a gun or a motor vehicle? To avoid accidents, drivers and pedestrians alike must exercise extreme caution when using the road.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point for today, Tuesday, the 19th day of December. With me this morning, I have, of course, Dr. Judy Bois with me this morning, and, of course, Miss Brenda Hood with me also. And here was they're representing the women's arm of the new National Party, been sharing ideas in terms of how women can make a difference in their lives. Around this time of the year, of course, they certainly did a lot, exploring the opportunities that's available, of course, making use of the opportunities that's available to better themselves and their families families also, and they spoke a lot in terms of the single parents and moms or the mothers who manage the entire family all by themselves. A lot of ideas about that was also thrown out this morning. We do have a call online. Let's see what this caller has to contribute this morning. Caller, good morning, welcome.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to you, GT, and to your two guests. Good morning and season's greetings. I have been listening, and I just thought I should throw that out for the benefit of all Grenadian women listening at this time. At this time of the year in our culture, there is work, and a lot of work. And GT, you know who are doing it? The people from Guyana, the women from Guyana, even Filipino are here doing it. Cleaning for people, scrubbing. I know in the past there was a course where Grenadian women went and learned to lay tiles. I'm not hearing anything coming out of that, any encouragement or anything like that. When I was in Canada, my girlfriend from Trinidad and her friend from Jamaica opened a little cleaning service, and they were never out of jobs. Never out of jobs. But our Grenadian women are locked into groundnut sugar cake and guava cheese mentality, and that's where they are. And even that is not so correct to encourage, because you are not seeing them with a badge from the Ministry of Health. So you kind of, wary in buying their things when you see them walking about with it. But I'm saying there is work. We need a change in mindset. I went somewhere and I saw an Imani lying down on a couch for the whole time. I was there playing with a phone. We need a change in mindset, please. There are women who can paint. There are women who can climb ladder and cobweb and things. There are people here who need that kind of work. And as I'm saying, I'm not asking. I have seen I went to a home. A woman from the Philippines was in the kitchen. The people from Cuba are coming. The people from Venezuela are coming, and they are the ones pushing the broom and scrubbing and so. While the Grenadians are wearing their plastic fingernails. No, let's encourage a mindset, please. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you, caller. Right. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And of course, we hear the caller making a very, of course, positive contribution there this morning in relation to women in terms of what is available. And she's saying, Grenadian women seem not to want to do that particular kind of work. What's your response?
Maybe in Grenada, but when they travel abroad, they have to work. They have to live, and they do those kind of work when they're abroad. And it's a fact that some women here do cleaning. They have set up companies to do cleaning and so. But we are talking more than that. I believe that because you want them to generate revenue. You don't want minimum wage. You want them to generate revenue. So the opportunities, like previous government, we have given a lot of scholarships to young people. We're talking young people now, to go and study, go into a profession, whatever they would like to be. There's nothing wrong with laying tiles, because lots of people are doing that, and we have had.
But maybe you're not seeing much women. The women part of it. As we speaking of women, speaking of women this morning.
It has to do with the employers. The construction people should be hiring these people, because I know for a fact we have sent women in the past to go and work in those institutions, in the hotels and different places where they have the work. Sometimes they stay on, sometimes they leave. But we have to encourage them. And the caller is correct to say that, you need to encourage. And this is what we need to do as a national women's arm of the party. We need to have fairs, encouraging women. So you go to a seminar, and these are people there who are saying, these are the offering we have. Would you be interested? And we said yes. They say, yes, I want to be involved. So I think we need to encourage them. It's true that there are opportunities, but there are lots of women here who are unemployed.
So true. All right. Let's entertain another caller. We have just approximately 2 minutes left on the show, on the program this morning. And we come back to your point of let's just entertain this caller. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And your guest. I'm a retired person, and right now I have a whiplash. I am wearing a neck brace, but I need somebody just to come and help me to clean out. I'll pay that person, but I can't get nobody to come, you know.
All right. Well, I certainly hope someone who is listening this morning, hearing, or maybe of the Women's Army, you could probably get in contact with us. But we didn't get a number and so forth from her. But you probably can offer some assistance in terms of getting the help that this individual, of course, is asking for. Of course, probably we could get a number after. Of course.
Well, as a matter of fact, I only met someone that I trained who works with government. She just had a degree, completed her degree, and she started a small business here in cleaning.
Okay.
And looking for people to help, to work with her.
All right.
So I don't know how I can make contact with that person.
All right.
Maybe they can check.
I think I could probably get a number back for you, and probably could.
And I can speak with her on the phone, so she can call up that person, because I know it is important, especially when you have had some difficulties. You need some support, and it's difficult to find people. So I think if she can make contact with me, I will forward her the name to that person.
We were speaking a wee bit in terms of women, of course, exploring their potentials. What you would like to say about that, especially when we just have approximately a few minutes left on the show this morning. Women exploring their potentials and making use of the opportunities that's available. How would you like to respond to that?
I think, first of all, we have to look for the opportunities.
Yeah.
That's the way you explore, and once you find the opportunities, then you start working towards whatever opportunity you found yourself in. And sometimes we have to seek help. Yes. We have to get assistance into how do I get there? What do I do? What do I do first, second, third, that kind of way. And the caller that spoke about people's mindset, I want to fully agree with that. And it may be an uphill battle, but you have to start. The longest journey begins with the first step. And she spoke about the nails and all that. And I think that it's something we have to seriously look at. How do we get our young people to review where they are? What are their priorities? And like Mrs. Hood said, they may not do it here, but if they go abroad and they have to make $1, they do anything to make that $1.
To do now. Yeah.
Yes. So we have to start telling them nothing is too measly or too low down to do honestly. And it's all about your integrity and your dignity that you want to maintain, and nothing should be too low to do, as long as it's legal, that you can you should pass up on in order to start somewhere.
All right.
And I think we have to start reversing that trend where priorities are concerned and where people turn their noses down at certain things. Because in other countries it doesn't matter what you do. But I've seen people who do housekeeping and they have big homes, they own homes. So as long as you can make $1 to make yourself start growing somewhere, I think it's worth it.
All right. Let's get some closing comments from you this morning. Ms. Hood, we start with you. Any closing comments? Especially
just to say that, as part of the women's arm of the New National Party, I'm happy to be here this morning to share with the people who are listening to this program, and in particular to wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas and all the best for the new year, good health and strength, and keep hope alive. Be confident that all is not lost and there will be opportunities out there. The women's arm of the New National Party will continue to do what we know is necessary, and for the new year coming up, as some of the ideas that we have gotten here this morning is to build on it and to maybe have some, employment fairs and things like that, bringing out people to listen, to see what's available and to encourage them. The whole thing about mentoring is something that is important for any organization, and this is an opportunity, a great opportunity for the Women's Arm to mentor.
Dr. Judy, any closing comments?
Yes, I want to echo Mrs. Hood's comments, and I just want to say that it's been a pleasure to be here, and we really are going to do our utmost to strengthen and to motivate and to help to spur on our women so that they can be, more independent, and that they can stand up more for themselves. I wish that all the Grenadian women would have peaceful and healthy holidays. Take care of your health. Make sure that this is one of the top priorities for the new year, that you'll get your checkups and so on. Take care of your children's health. And most of all, stand up for who you are with dignity. Don't be subdued into violence and all that. And let's see how we can just support and strengthen each other as Grenadian women.
All right. I want to thank you both for being here this morning, and compliments for the season. Hope you enjoy your holidays to come, and best wishes to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we wish you the same.
All right. Thank you so much also. Hey, folks, that's why we take a break. Not only a break, but that's why we take a wrap for today's program. Thanks to all who contributed some way or the other. Those who sat at home and looked, and of course, enjoyed what we presented this morning. Have yourself a good one. That's why we say goodbye for this edition of To The Point. Goodbye for today, folks.